Workers at Marks and Spencer's will be able to choose which pronoun they want to be referred to, which will then be displayed on their name badge. M&S shared a post from an employee who said, when you're talking to people in person, it's useful to know how they want to be referred to in order to help everyone feel comfortable and avoid any misgendering. It's a really fascinating topic for discussion, and I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Tim Dieppe from Christian Concern. Tim, how do you feel about the increasing popularity of people stating their preferred gender pronouns on social media, emails, or even on name badges?
Well, the difficulty with it is that it indicates support for a ideology that I think is actually contrary to Christianity and contrary to truth, really. Because the point is that we are all male and female. God made us male and female. And it should be obvious from the way in which you look and dress which of those you are. And in 99.9% of cases, when I meet people or see people in a crowd or whatever, I can tell which one's a male, which one's a female. And so there's not a need to indicate what pronouns you should use. And in fact, I would be a bit offended if somebody asked me, Tim, what are your pronouns? Or said, or something else, what are your pronouns? Because actually, when we're referring to people like I'm talking to you now, James, right? I don't say he about you, talking to you now, do I, right? So, there's no risk that I'll offend you by using the wrong pronoun when I'm talking to you, right? It's actually talking about you behind your back when you can't hear anyway, and so you're not be offended anyway. And I can just talk and say you're James if I need to. So I really don't think there's an issue here. I think it's kind of crazy to have badges saying he, him, when the point is you're going to speak to this person and call them by their name. Badge for a name, fair enough in certain circumstances, but a badge saying a pronoun, even an email saying a pronoun, is kind of going a step further here, and it's indicating acceptance of the belief that people can have a gender that's different from their biological sex. And that's where, as Christians, we're saying, and not just Christians, many feminists and others also would agree with this, that you can't actually change your sex. That's kind of a con, it's kind of a deception. You can't, you've got every cell in your body has chromosomes that actually determine which biological sex you are. And so, so advertising pronouns is in effect advertising, I support trans ideology. That's really what it's saying here. And other people have said this too. I was struck by Dame Jenny Murray, who you probably know. She was presenter of BBC Radio 4's Women's Hour. And, when she heard that BBC were advising staff to put pronouns on their work emails, she actually said this: the use of pronouns is a political statement. It suggests belief that gender identity overrides sex. And increasingly, we're seeing more and more women expressing their concern that what they believe, that sex matters, is slowly being eroded. So, I think we need to recognize this is, Jenny is not a Christian, but she sees the issue here. It is a political statement. And I'm very concerned that major organizations, M&S, Department of Ministry of Defence, BBC, are starting to say you should include your pronouns, which is effectively saying you need to indicate your support for this ideology.
Tim, the Bible is pretty clear that we have a priority to share the gospel with those around us. Do we just need to accept, do you think, that our society may now hold different values to us and move on and continue sharing our faith? Is there a risk that stories like this are just causing too much division, both in our society and also within the church?
Yes. So, stories like this do cause division, okay, but it's other people imposing a political ideology that's causing the division here. It's not, I'm not insisting people wear badges or put something in pronouns. Other people are insisting that. Do you see? They're imposing an ideology on you or on us. And that's the issue here. And I think we can't avoid this kind of thing ultimately. We can't sort of say, I'm only going to preach this narrow bit of the gospel here that actually says, be forgiven from your sins, unless we're prepared to say what sin is ultimately. And sin will include the desire to make yourself like God. Isn't that the original sin, right? You will be like God, right? You'll determine who you are. I determine who I am. Well, that's the whole basis behind trans ideology in a sense, right? I'm deciding who I am. You don't decide who I am. And actually it's God who decides who you are. And that is part of the gospel message. And so we can't avoid sort of engaging with these issues because they are inextricably linked in to the gospel message as well.
Well, Tim Dieppe from Christian Concern, thank you very much for joining us. And if you want to share your thoughts on this story, you can comment below this video. Tim, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.